Hey kids, welcome into a summer break edition of Happy Hour. School's out at the University of Oregon, so until August 1st, you're getting bonus hours. They get a vacation, you get more of me. So thank you for turning on your radios, your desktop computers, your smart speakers. If you're on YouTube, you already know what I'm about to tell you, and it's very, very exciting. Dusty Hare is joining us.
Ooh, all right. I get like the Saved by the Bell studio, the studio audience of Saved by the Bell.
What else would you want?
Nothing.
I mean, does it get any better than
Nothing.
that? I believe
Nothing. Kelly Kapowski.
Are they
Meow.
Are they making new Saved by the Bells? Is that a
They
real
shouldn't.
thing that has happened? Well, of course they shouldn't, but
Yeah.
tell me the remake from the 90s that should be made that hasn't been made. I mean, it's kind of a thing.
Yeah, the Fuller House.
Yeah.
They just brought them all back and did the Fuller House.
Well, except for Bob Saget, R.I.P.
R.I.P. But he did. Well, he was on a couple of shows.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
Okay.
he was on a couple of episodes,
Yeah,
and then
this is how much I watched.
he died.
Okay.
But they had him. They had him.
There you go.
That was okay.
Was it?
Yeah, it was good because we got to watch it with our kids, and
Okay.
my daughter, who's older, she loved it, and I was like, "Gosh, this show really isn't that good."
But did you go back and watch the original episodes?
And that wasn't that good either.
Yeah.
So you just get into these phases of, wow, I watched this crap, so they're watching the same stuff, and it's okay. It's all right.
I think the biggest thing that I miss from 90s sitcoms, what was it? Was it Friday? I can't remember what it was called. Didn't it have some nickname? Like
TGIF?
Was it? It was TGIF. Yeah,
TGIF, where you had like
thank
Urkel.
goodness, and it was thank goodness it was Friday. But the theme songs.
Theme songs were great.
I mean, it
Elite.
was.
They don't do those anymore.
They do. They do not, and that's one of the things. What they do is every show that you binge seems to have the longest instrumental with some sort of art project that will last for about 45 minutes. But they give you the option to skip it.
No,
and so
I don't want
ends up only being 15 seconds. But
even the
Apple
shows
TV more than anybody does.
Even the shows that weren't that great had elite theme songs, or long runs, I should say. Because I loved Perfect Strangers with Balki Bantakamus.
Bartakamus.
Yes.
And from Epos.
Carson Larry.
Yeah. Yes.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Great theme song.
Very, very good. What's really funny is if you go back, you can find on the interwebs one of the theme songs, and I'm not sure which direction it goes, but Family Matters and Full House ended up swapping theme songs. I think that it was Family Matters had the theme song that ended up being owned by Full House.
Full House?
Could be the opposite way,
man.
but there is this strange universe where in those first couple episodes.
Well, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
And it was a great trade because both of them had fantastic theme songs.
Was anything better than Step by Step though?
No, Step by Step, Day by Day. Loved it.
Yeah.
That was a great. Well, I mean, you go way back to like Three's Company. Amazing.
Yep. Yeah.
Knock on our door. I loved them. They were great. Casey's over there. He has no idea.
No.
He has SpongeBob SquarePants, and that's it.
It's a pretty good one, though.
It's a good one.
Pretty good one.
It's a banger.
It is. There's no question about it. But I wanted to talk to you about something else that I no longer watch.
Okay.
I brought you in to catch us up on what's going on with college football.
I can't believe you don't watch college football.
I'm happy you tell me
Yeah.
the stakes of the game, and I will join it. If once we get into the playoff and it's you win, you advance. I have no idea what the meaning of a regular season college football game is anymore. There is no like, oh, if you can get to this record, if you can win your conference, if you can get to the conference championship game. College football, because I don't have a team, I don't have an allegiance to anybody. It used to be every game mattered as long as you win or you're one of the 7 teams that actually had a chance to make it into the BCS championship or whatever it was. There was at least some of that. There are 12 teams now in the college football playoff. I have no idea what any of the regular season consequences are. Indiana played Oregon twice last year. The year before, they played Ohio State twice.
Okay.
They end up rematching in the postseason.
Yeah.
We have the championship game for the Big Ten. It's so exciting. If this team wins, well, they'll probably still make the playoff. If this team loses, well, they'll probably still make the playoff. Like, it's just
So
it's a silly,
in the
silly
NFL,
sport.
You have 32 teams, 14 playoff spots.
Exactly.
Correct?
Yep.
Yeah. In college football, you have 134 teams, 12 playoff spots.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the NFL, you can be under 500 and make the playoffs.
At least you know what the rules are.
As long
to
as
get
you
there.
win your division.
Yeah, but
Right?
at least you know what the rules are going
Right.
into the contest.
Yeah.
Because the thing about football, regardless if there's 128 teams or 32 teams, your schedule doesn't allow you to play against every team, so you can't get a fair measurement of where you rank up against the whole league. So the best way to do that
Right.
is you play these division games, which is six games.
Like, are you
that you play against?
Are
your
you
division.
like a Duke should have been in last year guy?
No,
'Cause-
no. I think
they do a good job of getting, because we know what the best teams are.
The one that got me was the Florida State one a couple years ago.
When their starting quarterback got hurt?
Yeah, but they went undefeated, and quarterbacks are the most important player, but they're not the only player. And that one was a lot for me. But the truth is, I mean, last year at some point during the season, you had coaches being owed $250 million to not coach.
Yeah.
And that was it for me. I was just like, you know what? Call me when the playoff starts. I'd like to think all of this matters.
Yeah.
The one before that was the Pac-12 dissolving. That was where all my allegiances were. I didn't go to
And I
school
get that. That one I do get.
That one really hurts.
Yeah.
And the transfer portal where you don't know who's going to be where for more than a season. And Oregon has done really well with keeping their guys.
Yeah.
But they still have a flood of guys. What was the kid not last year, but the year before, who's transferring during the playoff? Wide receiver?
Yeah, that one was not like transferring out during
It's
the
like, I'm out.
season.
And the backup quarterback for Penn State does the same thing because the transfer window is somehow inside of the playoff
and that
schedule.
I do get. But the games itself, they do matter. And they do matter because you have a shorter regular season. You have fewer opportunities to prove your worth and prove your mettle. And there is a lot of drama in that. All of the other outside stuff, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of problems
The two
with college
biggest
football.
games that Oregon played in the regular season, the last two seasons, Ohio State and Indiana.
Yeah.
They won one, they lost one. Results, they still got an opportunity to play them again.
Yeah. And then they played in the playoffs and they lost both of those games. So, I mean, it's like.
But tell me
there is something there.
But the postseason game mattered.
Yeah.
Because if you lose, you're out. The regular season didn't
Oh,
really
I
matter.
don't think that you can convince anybody, winner or loser of any of those regular season games, that those games didn't matter.
Yeah,
or like the Iowa game that Oregon went to Iowa this year, that game mattered a lot. Every game matters.
The closer you get to it, the more it matters. But again, this is me as a casual fan who has no allegiance to Oregon outside of being part of this station. And roots for the Pac-12 that no longer exists. I mean, Cal and Stanford are in the ACC.
But that argument doesn't hold up in the NFL when, like, the Seahawks lose to the Dolphins, and then you go, well, that game didn't matter. They still made the playoffs.
Well, but you can go back and look at the NFL and go, all right, where were the bad losses that ended up having us miss the playoff? But as you go down the stretch,
you can do that in college football too.
You can't
actually.
You can.
If you have a truly bad loss, good luck even getting into it.
Sure. But then there's that one bad loss, but Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois University a couple years ago and was able to survive it.
Right.
And Florida State loses their quarterback a couple years. Not a game. They lose a player, and they're out.
That was the right call, though.
Okay, if you say so. I mean,
they got absolutely steamrolled in their playoff or their bowl game.
Well, yes. But what's the other problem with college football is how often do teams end up in a bowl game and not care?
But that one also though is they were flirting with disaster with their starting quarterback.
Yep.
And then
they
lose
really
him
were.
and the wheels fall off.
They really were. And again, this is an argument that is partly because you know this. You have young kids. You only have so much time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you give me the option in the fall of watching the end of baseball season.
No doubt about it.
The NFL season, the start of basketball, the start of the NHL, all of the things that we have, plus coaching a 9 and 10-year-old girls basketball team, going to some lacrosse meetings and doing all of that. And I just said, you know what?
You're done.
College football, college sports.
And that's okay.
Creates so much agony over so many things. The perfect example of that is this week. What is going to happen with Brendan Sorsby?
Nobody knows. I mean,
it's like, this
Kirby Hocutt, the AD at Texas Tech, he wrote, and he needed to do it because the backlash is so strong against Texas Tech right now about how they're not, what they're doing isn't gaming any sort of system and messing with the integrity of sports. But he was talking about, we are backing a young man who's never played here before.
Yeah.
And he has an addiction. And look, Brendan Sorsby legitimately does. And like a gambling addiction is a very real addiction.
And gambling addictions, especially in young men between 18 and 25, is soaring in this country, which was predicted by every country that has ever legalized gambling. The European countries that have done it have said, hey, this is a real problem for young men that are highly competitive, that are impacted very early on by the advertising, the marketing, the Kevin Hart sitting there with LeBron James talking about how they're watching the football game is a huge impact to his demographic. And now he has one of these catastrophic sins that no other athlete has survived. And now college football, the thing that I don't understand is, where is even the fight? If the Big 12 decides that they're not going to play against Texas Tech because of this ruling, that's what I'm saying. Is the fight in the courts, or is it actually in the conferences? Is it?
I think it's everything. It's everything, and this is a weird hill. And Kirby Hocutt did go out and he said that this isn't Texas Tech suing to keep him eligible. This was Brendan Sorsby doing it. We're just supporting it. We didn't make the rules. We're just going to allow to play them. But I go back to with Texas Tech and all of this, like we hear this all the time when you get your driver's license, right? Driving is a privilege, not a right.
Yep.
Right? Like
100%.
and playing college football is a privilege and not a right. And there's a lot of people that lose their license because they have alcoholism, which is a disease.
Yep.
And it's very addictive and it's horrible and it ruins it. But you lose some privileges that go along with, having your rights. And like, it's not an apples to apples comparison there by any stretch of the imagination, but it's really hard to justify like the privilege of being able to play college football because it is.
Yeah.
And it should be viewed that way.
But the difference between sport and society. So driving is something that if you can meet the minimum requirement for it, then you have that privilege out there that you can go and take advantage of. It's a lot more of a meritocracy in college football, and you have such a limited window, and you have all of this money that is being invested in these programs to go and collect what money is out there for your university, what prestige, to get that championship. These windows are so small and they're so finite that people have always been willing to bend the rules for somebody that has talent. So that's where there's a big difference. It's not the family going, man, we'd really like our kids to drive, but Dusty's such a good driver. We have to get him into the car, and we'll do everything we can to cover up his alcoholism and cover up all of his foibles because he could be the next whoever.
And that is why.
And he can bring us all of.
Texas Tech needs to just stand up and say, no, this isn't right. It's not right for the sport. It's not right for young people around to see a man. And look, that doesn't mean Texas Tech should stop supporting him. You can still support the young man who's never played a down of football for you.
And I assume has very good grades in all of the classes that he's taking.
Well, you can still support this kid who has never played for you and say, no, we care about the person, but not have him as a member of your football team.
Yeah.
Because if you truly do care about him, he doesn't have to play down a football for Texas Tech for you to support him and still do the right thing by any measure over the history of sports, which is if you bet on the game, you do not play the game. You lose the privilege to play it.
Yep.
Whether it's the Black Sox scandal in the World Series, Pete Rose.
Headache Smith.
Yeah, you can go back to any betting scandal in sports, they don't play again.
Well, the funny thing is, and we talked about this earlier this week on the show about how sport, because the top 100 most influential people in sports came out from Time Magazine. And Lowercase and I are looking at this list yesterday, and there's a lot of names on there that I don't recognize because there are other sports besides the big four and the things that we discuss on here.
There's a lot of cricket players that always pop up on those lists.
There's a couple cricket players. You had ping pong. You had pickleball.
Table
you had
tennis, please.
Esports.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Our boy Faker.
Yeah. Well, again.
What does Faker play?
Faker plays League of Legends.
So
what's that?
It's one of the largest and growing fastest esports games in the world.
Again, making my point here.
But what is it?
It's a video game.
It's a
Well,
game
I know
where,
it's a video game. Like, what kind of video game?
It's a
is
game where you have 5 champions going up against 5 champions, and each person has a role. You go down a lane and pretty much just play out your role.
Super Mario Brothers. Who cares? It's a video game that we don't
You're
play.
fighting each
Whatever.
other?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Whatever.
All right.
But again, there's all of these things that we don't necessarily pay attention to, outside of it. Yesterday, I'm having a conversation with somebody. They're like, "Oh, what do you do? What do you do for work?" I was a sports radio show. Oh, what are the big topics? And I bring up Brendan Sorsby. I go, the biggest story has to be this. And they're like, "Oh, what's the normal punishment for gambling?" And he's like, "Out for a year." And I'm like, no, this is like and for you and
don't do it.
But for you and me and Casey, it's very easy to jump into this conversation. For these people, they're like, what is League of Legends? That was exactly the way they looked at me. They're like, so what? He bet on like it's competition. They bet on it. Like it was the most surprising response I've had from ever telling somebody, because that you've been there. What's the big story? This is mind blowing. But think of all of the stories in college sports that have been equivalent to that. You get the NIL. You get the transfer portal. Last year in college basketball, you have guys that signed pro contracts going back to college to play.
Yeah.
So it feels like all of the things that harnessed college football, the being enrolled in school, that fell away a long time ago, and taking academics seriously. And that has been a charade for a very long time. You have the amateurism. That's gone. You have all of these things. And now one that is sacred well beyond the bounds of just college sports is just like, nah.
Yeah. I think this one is not going to be the meh, because it does transcend just the amateur sports, and it goes
I agree.
into all of our professional sports as well. It's really interesting to see what a lot of the reaction is and how people are trying to leverage it. Like the people that really don't know much about it, they're like, well, yeah, what is that suspension? But then you go, historically,
Yep.
you don't ever play again.
You're banned for life. One of the greatest hitters in the history of a sport.
The greatest.
Are you still the greatest?
Yeah.
All right.
Pete Rose?
I
He's
mean,
the hit king.
Still the greatest.
Come on.
How much live Pete Rose did you
I mean,
watch?
he's the
Dusty?
hit king.
I know you didn't watch it.
He's the hit king. Tony Gwynn and Ted Williams.
Yep.
Also.
Ichiro is up there as one. Listen, call him the greatest. I could care less.
Yeah.
The dude was, even being among the greatest, to be banned from a sport
100%.
is a pretty harsh punishment. So I did not mean to minimize it. We only have you for a little bit of time. We're going to get you on Wednesdays. We're going to borrow you. I do want to talk about the Ducks. I'm not going to dump on college sports all the time. I have just decided that it is not my center lane. But I'm going to give you your chance. I pulled up today.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the fun part of it for me too, is it's been a long time since I've kind of stepped away from a sport. I pulled up all of these preview lists that they have, and your quarterback, some of your new signings, your recruiting class, all of these things. So I do want to get the Ducks preview from you, but instead of me going through with my cynicism and doing it, we'll get the enthusiastic version of the Oregon Ducks from Dusty Hara. We'll do it next. You're listening to a bonus hour of Happy Hour on 105.1 The Fan.
The Fan.
I don't know if my counting is exactly correct, but I believe we are at 86 days until the Ducks football season kicks off. That is
really
not that many days. Yeah, it's coming up right around the corner. Your job probably doesn't have a whole lot that hinges around Ducks football, does it?
No, nothing. Nothing that I do. I was about to take over my life in about a month.
I saw the number the other day. I think it was 88 on Monday. So I subtracted 2, and
that's
I got
good math.
And I got to 86. So I did that by myself. And as I'm doing that,
that's math we can all do.
But I thought that I was helping listeners. I was like, oh, this will be a fun little number to throw out. And as I'm saying it, I look over at you and I go, oh, that's your other job. That's the current job that you're doing here. Plus, I've invited you to come in here and talk Ducks with us because Duck Insider is off. And so I was looking over at you and I go, that number is a very different countdown for Dusty Hera than it is for me and all of the listeners. So what do you have to get done between now and
everything?
Just all that. Just all that. All right. For people that haven't been paying attention, like myself, that have not been, keeping track of all of the off-season moves that the Ducks have made, it looked like their recruiting ranking went down a little bit from where it's been kind of averaging on ESPN, and I know that there's different rating systems.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
So many.
24/7 does it this way, and Rivals and whatever. Another
for you, it's like going to Pro Football Focus versus the ESPN Power Rankings versus Bleacher Reports,
or just watching the games. Going, if we get 10 wins, we're probably in the playoffs,
good.
But maybe not.
Yeah.
So we'll know by week 16 what we need to do. So ESPN has the Ducks 12th for their recruiting class, but there's 3 guys in the top 80 for new faces in Oregon that are players in college football that you need to watch. So how would you rank the offseason for the Oregon Ducks? I think the number one thing that they did was just having Dante Moore come back puts them head and shoulders above a lot of teams, and there's no ranking for your returning roster.
Yeah, and I think that
right?
one thing that you want to do in college football is you start recruiting forward, right? When you don't have massive attrition in the transfer portal, and Oregon has not over the last handful of years, and that's a great thing to have, is you're building and you're developing and you're growing talent. So when you don't have that attrition, you're sitting there and you're looking at it going, all right, how do we backfill this roster? And you get to be more choosy on who you bring in whether it's recruiting or the transfer portal, because guys are sticking around, whether that is Dante Moore or it is really their front four on the defensive line. When you look at Mateo Uiagalelei, Bear Alexander, Amari Washington, and Tatum Tuioti all coming back as well.
Well, you just brought something up, too, with the retaining Dante Moore. Seems like it might be the bigger one, but now that I'm really thinking about it, I mean, the Ducks used to be, and they did this with Vernon Adams, and they brought in Dakota Prukop, who ended up not being it, but they have relied multiple times on, hey, we don't have the guy in-house that we need. Let's go out and get a transfer quarterback. Bo Nix was that, and he stayed. Dylan Gabriel became that, but in that same time, they got Dante Moore, who was willing to come as a former 5-star and a transfer to back up. Dylan Raiola is that guy now, so you're not just getting guys to transfer in, you're getting guys to transfer and sit.
And probably one of the hardest things for any school to do, and this is where Oregon ran into it, is like when they had Marcus Mariota and you have a guy like a Mariota, there is a hesitancy for quarterbacks to come and commit and say, as a high schooler, yeah, that's where I want to go. Mm-hmm. Oregon is now backfilling that roster with not just Dante Moore and Dylan Raiola, but they have their homegrown guys that are going to be pushing Dylan Raiola. Like, it's not going to be a foregone conclusion that it's a Dylan Raiola handoff from Dante Moore, because you have a Keely Smith Jr. who has played very well by all accounts throughout last fall and then the spring as he redshirted last year. Brock Thomas, who everybody assumed that it was going to be Austin Novosad as the backup last year. Well, Brock Thomas, the Sheldon High School walk-on, he was the actual backup throughout the entirety of all last year.
Did we see him at all?
He played in the Wisconsin game.
Okay.
A ton. Played in the Rutgers game. He played a lot of games.
But late minutes. Duty. But we didn't see him in the actual.
In the Wisconsin game, he played a significant amount because Dante got dinged up in that one. That was a tie game. Remember, that was a game that everybody's like, what is going on? And it was an absolute monsoon. It was sideways rain, wind, brutal, and he stepped in a close game and really led him out on a touchdown drive. I think he was a quarterback on the 99-yard drive, if I'm correct.
Okay.
I may be wrong on that. But he had some actual reps in minutes in games, but people just thought it was going to be Novosad because that was a conversation. Two guys that were going to start were going to be Dante Moore and Austin Novosad, and here comes Brock Thomas in there. So they've done a really good job at the quarterback position, but now they're starting to backfill kind of everywhere.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. That was the next thing, because there's Dylan Thieneman was, I think, the biggest acquisition Dante Moore was, again, he was sitting there, so he was the next guy up, but Thieneman comes in. They have another safety that is also a returner that might even be
Coy
more
Parrish,
impactful.
The Minnesota transfer, who he was kind of a Swiss Army knife for Minnesota. Not only was he an all Big Ten safety, but he was a returner. And then they were depleted at receiver, and he ended up playing receiver for them as well.
Nice.
So he is
fairly talented guy.
He's a pretty talented guy back there, roaming the secondary. But you bring in a guy like Coy Parrish to fill in those shoes of Dylan Thieneman, because you have freshmen that are coming in who they are very high on. Jet Washington, Kobe Bryant's nephew, from Bishop Gorman. He's a 6'5" safety.
Does Bishop Gorman have good?
They're pretty good in Las Vegas.
I mean, if I don't pay attention to college football, how much am I paying attention to high school? But I've heard that name somewhere.
Pretty dang good. But they've done a really good job of filling those needs, seeing where the need is. When you have Aaron Flowers and Peyton Woodyard, who are going to be playing the strong safety position. Mostly, we think. We don't know. But when you have those guys who in the spring look really good and at the end of last year really were progressing, and then you say, all right, we're losing Dylan Thieneman, who was an incredible player.
Yeah. Well, another guy you're losing is Kenyon Sadiq. I mean, so who else went? And I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that went in the first round, but Thieneman, Sadiq.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they lost a lot of they lost a lot of really dang good players, right?
Sure. You would expect the better you get, the more guys go in the draft. But those are the signs.
But Bryce Betcher, who is he was a 4th round pick, but at the same time, like, he was the heart and soul of that defense.
Yeah.
And Betcher, at playing that inside linebacker position, it was interesting to hear kind of guys say, we're hearing a different voice back behind us on the defensive side. The guy who's making all the checks and all the calls, like Bryce Betcher and Dylan Thieneman, they are big absences because of their leadership that they had on that defense last year. But having the 4 up front come back, that's a pretty big boost that you get there.
Yeah. Who's this freshman kid at tight end? He's on the list. I think he's listed as the number 80 most impactful newcomer, and he's a freshman.
Kendry Harrison, he was a high-level basketball recruit. He was like a 4 or 5-star basketball recruit as well.
Is he going to play basketball
and
do both?
I have no idea. Okay. It's really hard to do. I mean, like, half your basketball season overlaps with football now. So
I know, yeah.
It's that would be really hard to do, but he's physically just, you look at him and you're like, goodness gracious. He's like 6'7". You just keep looking up. Athletic as all get out, and
so you
can run.
You lose the biggest freak athlete at the tight end position, and you just add another guy that's even taller and has some of the same qualities.
Well, and he might be the 3rd or 4th string tight end.
Well, and Dan Lanning, if he's taught us anything, it's like, don't trust the 2Ds that you see.
There is no.
I will never forget the Georgia game, the first Dan Lanning game. You go out there, and everybody's like, man, who's going to play running back? And everybody starts listing off all the guys that suspected. And here's Bucky Irving and Noah Whittington, and nobody knew who they were, and they're the bell cows for that game.
So, even last year at running back, it was like, all right, who are going to be the running backs? And the 2 freshmen, and Jordan Davison and De'Aaron Hill, kind of come out and pop. But at tight end, Kendry Harrison there is going to be a learning curve, because, I mean, playing in the Big Ten, they're big, they're physical, the defenses are good, they're sound, and you got to have counterpunches. Well, you have Jamari Johnson coming back, who could be tight end number 1 in the NFL draft next year. So Oregon could have back-to-back years with the top tight end taken in 3 years in a row with a highly drafted tight end. You go Terrence Ferguson to the Rams, then you have Kenyon Sadiq.
You can go even all the way back to Jawan Johnson, the tight end for the Saints.
Yeah, who was a wide receiver at Oregon, and then he moved over to tight end once he got to the NFL. So Jamari Johnson is the guy everybody's going to be looking towards. But Andrew Olish, who is a Penn State transfer, who he was down to Oregon and Penn State during his recruiting process. He was a 5-star recruit who chose Penn State. James Franklin gets fired. He enters transfer portal, ends up at Oregon. Then you have Marcus Dixon, who was a defensive end at Clemson, he's like,
they don't put defensive ends out at Clemson, do they?
Pretty good place to be.
Why not? Comes over, and he's sparked in the spring as well. So I mean, you have athletes everywhere.
Wow.
You have athletes everywhere, and the tight end room is going to be good again, but the wide receiver room is the one that I look at and I say, they've got legitimate depth at wide receiver for the first time in quite some time.
How many times have we had the 12-team college football playoff?
2.
I believe this is two.
This is number 3.
And what conferences won both times?
The Big Ten.
Come in next week. We'll talk some Big Ten, see what's going on around the conference, because obviously some people are leaving, some people are staying. We'll figure out what's going on. I mean, it sounds like a stacked roster, but a deep stacked roster. But this is not what Oregon was years ago, right? It was you had one guy and you had some 5 stars. I remember when Kayvon Thibodeau committed to Oregon, he was the highest rated player that they'd ever had at that position. The same week, Clemson had 8 5-stars commit.
Yeah.
It is a different world than it was back then.
And that is something
not that short of a timeline.
That's something that NIL has really changed too, is that 5-stars don't just go to a concentrated set of schools anymore. They get spread out because it's opportunity, and then you get a little cash. Those guys they're going to a lot more schools now than they used to.
Well, we'll keep doing hump days with Hera all summer long. So we'll look at the Big Ten next week. We'll look at all of college football the week after that, and then we should be into camps and people showing up and seeing what's going on. How often are you going down to Eugene?
Now?
Yeah.
None.
Okay.
Once football starts.
When do you start, though?
Probably fall camp. Once fall camp starts, I'll go down.
And that is
during the week. That will be late July, early August.
Yeah, that is still summer.
Early
but,
August.
Yeah.
So
early
August.
Not that far away.
Not 86 days, that's for sure.
Amen
It's
to
not
that.
86 days.
All right. Big thanks to the great Dusty Hera.
Get
We
back
will
to
see you
NFL
again
and the
next week.
Mariners and all that stuff.
Well, for sure.
Have
Well,
all the fun
Brendan Ayuk had some words that
Oh, boy.
we'll need to discuss.
Oh,
But first, let's have a Sports Center update.
Well, Serena Williams' doubles campaign at Queen's Club could be over after just one match.
It was funny because I saw the headline where she was dominant back in her peak form, and it didn't last.
Victoria Mboko, the American Star's doubles partner, sustained a knee injury in her singles match against Karolina Pliskova on Wednesday. Williams and Mboko had won their opening doubles match Tuesday, but it's likely that Mboko will miss some time, meaning Serena will have to take a back seat.
So it has nothing to do with Serena. Don't they have a backup? Can't she just grab one of the ball girls and just play singles against two other ladies and be just fine?
Again, Williams said, "It's such a shame. I think we played quite a good game, and she was improving as the match went on. I wish her only the best. It's not the way I want to win. So hopefully, she is going to be fine for Wimbledon."
Call Venus. Get back out there and keep playing. Come on, Serena.
And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
The home of the firm.
Yeah, NBA Finals. We've got a Game 4 tonight in New York. Is that right? Do I have that accurate? Let's see. Last night it was hockey, and Jordan Stahl is a beast. Night before, Wemby had a good... Yeah, okay, yeah, it's basketball night tonight, going back and forth between two of the best professional sports series that you could possibly have. If you're just joining the show, I dominated Dusty Hara in an argument about whether or not college sports have any intrigue and any integrity left, and crushed him on that. But we'll have him join us every week, and he can keep having that good fight for the amateur athletics that are there just to make the universities look great. But speaking of athletes that are out there sounding smart and doing the right thing to make sure that their career continues, Brandon Ayuk, buddy, what's going on? So if you have missed this, Brandon Ayuk has decided to wage a war against the 49ers using Instagram Reels. Is that his preferred method of weaponry, Casey? You've been keeping a closer eye on this than I have. You brought it to my attention yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, it's just a lot on his Instagram stories, a few Reels that he's posted.
Well, he posted a new one. Can we listen to it and just see if we think any of this is a good idea?
You want to know why they really mad, though? They mad because they stupid. They dumb. They mad that they paid me $50 million in 8 months. And they avoided my guarantees for 2027. And I'm about to be on a new team in 2027. They mad at they selves for real. Acting like they mad at me, but they stupid ass mad at they self.
Is Brandon Ayuk going to play this year?
No, he's not playing this year.
What is he doing? He's
got a point.
What's his point? That they're stupid to pay him all that money?
Yeah, and then void his contract for 2027 when he's probably going to negotiate a new contract as a free agent because they'll have to waive him? Yeah, I think that's pretty smart.
Oh, so you're on his side, because to me...
They're choosing not to play him, but they still have to pay him.
Well, yes, I get that, and that will happen in this, but if he wants to maximize his earning potential, it is getting out there and playing. I mean, if he wants to sit back and not play, I think that's what he's getting. Because the way I look at this is you have this limited time to play the game of football. Every year that you miss makes it more and more difficult to come back. So he got paid, he got injured, he didn't play, and now he's taken up a career of posting very dumb videos of him speeding around the stadium and now having this one-sided argument with a team that is his best chance to get back on the field, which is his best chance to get another contract. Is anybody going to want this guy?
That's where I would argue it's not his best chance to get back on the field.
So what's his best chance?
Negotiate a contract in the offseason.
So he's going to skip the entire 2026 season.
He skipped last season.
This is what I'm saying. The longer you are away from the game, the more difficult it is to get back.
We're having conversations about Aaron Donald being 2 years removed from the game, being ready to come back. Who's to say Brandon Ayuk wasn't already ready?
First of all, we don't know if Aaron Donald is ready to come back.
But
people are making the suggestion, but he's also a Hall of Famer. And this, I don't think is an exaggeration that Aaron Donald will be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
100%. But is Brandon Ayuk still not in his prime athletically and age-wise?
For sure. He is, but we've seen this
Why not maximize it then?
Again, I think the way to maximize it is to get out on the field and play. But you're disagreeing with me on that.
But if you go out there and get hurt, then your contract is pretty much gone. Say if you're in a situation where you go out and Daniel Jones it or Patrick Mahomes it, where you get hurt at the end of the season, and then the next year you're sitting out pretty much.
Yes.
That's ruining your chances to make money and maximize your earning potential.
Okay, so Brandon Ayuk missed the majority. So last year he didn't play. Year before he missed half the season.
Mm-hmm. Recovering from a hamstring injury.
Going to miss this whole season, 2.5 years out. He's got a warrant for his arrest for the speeding thing, and he's out publicly trashing his team. Who's going to be in the negotiating ring to get him at the end of next season? Is he still so valuable without having seen him play?
Did Odell Beckham Jr. not get multiple tryouts for multiple teams?
Sure he did. What's he getting paid?
I think a few million, veteran minimum.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not going out and getting a big contract. But Odell Beckham Jr. also was often injured and bounced around teams after leaving New York. It wasn't necessarily that he went out and was disparaging the teams that had signed him. Am I missing that?
I would argue that's probably not necessarily the case because him and the Giants definitely had a...
Oh, no. When he left the Giants, they had a kind of an ugly divorce. But I guess my point is
this not just an ugly divorce that we're in the midst of?
So then Brandon Ayuk is going to have Odell Beckham Jr.'s post-Giants career? I don't think that's maximizing your potential.
Odell was a pretty good receiver in Cleveland. If you don't forget that Cleveland Browns with Jarvis Landry was top 5 passing.
But that was also a trade. So he was traded away while he was still on the Giants contract, right?
I want to say yes.
And then after leaving Cleveland, he spent a little time in Los Angeles, spent a little time with the Ravens, spent a little time playing flag football, and is now coming back with the Giants. Maybe he's doing everything right, but going out on social media and trashing it, you're a lot younger person than I am. To me, that feels like probably not the wisest move. But at the same time, there is a culture that I'm not a part of on social media, and maybe it's just me, old man, yelling at the clouds. But I'm just like,
what did he say that wasn't?
Well, I'll say the speeding video as the start of this onslaught being super stupid.
Being the onslaught, but
just going
not bright.
Just going out and going, y'all are dumb, and even if he's actually correct in that, they're the ones.
You're not mad at BA. You're mad at the sales team because the sales team is what negotiated the contract. This just happened to break in BA's favor.
So he's already been paid. He's not going to get paid for this year.
Got his guarantees.
Yep. And then, but if he doesn't play, does he get paid this year?
I believe he's still owed from 2026, and they're actively working to void his contract for 2027.
The next question I would have is, how are the investment funds that he created with that $50 million doing, and is he going to remain set? I have a suspicion that he might not have been the wisest with the money. This is just a guess. I have no way of knowing this, but I always have a feeling where somebody goes out and brags about how much money they made is somebody that likes to spend said dollars.
His career earnings surpass a little over $60 million.
Yeah,
I bet he's doing okay.
I'm confident that he's doing okay, but again, he has a lot of potential to make a whole lot more money being on the field than he does being off. And we've seen wide receivers that have been dysfunctional enough to get themselves out of the league regardless of talent. And that's a pretty good place to be a wide receiver last time I checked, is in San Francisco playing for Kyle Shanahan. So we'll see what ends up happening, but right now he is having a one-sided argument with the 49ers. I have not seen anything from the team, but if you are a 49ers fan and you're expecting Brandon Ayuk to be back on the field playing for your team and making you better, that's the whole other side of this is they're a team that has gone all in on stars, and they have not been a team that is built on depth. And having Brandon Ayuk is going to be really valuable for them as well. So you would think if they were interested in creating a harmonious 2026 with this wide receiver, feels like that ship may have sailed. So they might be dumb, but I don't think he's also being the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah, it says the 2026 his 2026 cap hit will depend on the timing of his expected departure. The team voided the $27 million in future guaranteed money, but his outright cut cap hit for this year would be around $15 million.
If it were me, I'd have my people doing the talking. I wouldn't be the one doing the talking. Fair?
Pretty fair.
Okay. That seems like a better, especially after one of the videos.
Words can get misconstrued.
I wouldn't have him speaking in the public. I would have my agent talking to the front office with the 49ers to figure this whole thing out. Maybe that's just me. We've got a new candidate. I don't know if this works. So Josh Naylor definitely had a bat flip. Ketel Marte had a bat toss.
We've got another one?
I think you might know what it is. This is more of a bat. I'm just going to let you fall. It wasn't even his bat. We'll tell you who that is and discuss the latest entry in that's how you pose after a home run. Next, happy hour on 105.1 The Fan.
The Fan.
It's always a difficult situation when you have to give flowers to somebody wearing a Yankees uniform, and there are plenty of flowers to go around. First thing, this is at least the second home run that we've seen Jazz Chisholm hit with Aaron Judge's bat. It's not his bat anymore. You just hit 2 home runs. Well, the reigning MVP is out injured for, 4 to 6 weeks?
4 to 6 weeks is when he'll be reevaluated.
It's your bat. It's your bat. There's another 3.5 to 5.5 weeks where you get to, it's yours. Keep it. I'm Aaron Judge. I can get another one. That bat is officially yours. So I do not need you keep reminding me that he's using it. That is now your length. That is now your weight. After he hit the first one, he said he grabbed it because he swings slower, which is actually going to save him from the oblique injury that he had last year because overswinging. It's your bat now, dude. Nobody wants you to get your oblique injured. It's yours. The other thing that we must point out is that the baggy pants that he was kind of wearing, I was watching it, and I'm like, this guy already has swag. His name is Jazz Chisholm. You have to have swag if you're going to be a professional athlete with that name. So congratulations, you've got that. You mentioned the baggy pants. I noticed them yesterday when I'm watching this little trot late yesterday evening. And I pointed out to you, I go, I'll bet you that's how you would look in a Yankees uniform. And you said that is the exact look that you went foot. High pants, baggy pants, and stirrups. And you've got that same, I don't want to say scrawny build, but that might be the most accurate way to put it, yeah?
The same je ne sais quoi, as you would say?
Je ne sais quoi. Well, I've never seen you trot around the bases. But here's the most important reason that we need to give credit to Jazz Chisholm for his home run last night. We love a good bat flip. We love a good pose. We love the enthusiasm that comes along with hitting a home run. Neither you or I believe that it shows up the other team, the opposing pitcher. It is just, you hit it. You know it's gone. Take your moment. Take your moment.
Enjoy it.
Jazz Chisholm hits the home run yesterday. And it's gone. Like, you know that it's gone. And he sits back, admires it in the follow-through pose, which, underrated as a follow-through pose, the NFL quarterback that holds his hand out there, the three-pointer where you hold it up and kind of leave it there as a pose. The finish of your swing pose, pretty damn good. So Jazz just sits there, and instead of doing a bat flip, instead of chucking the bat anywhere, he just lets it drop right by his side and then starts a slow trot. Now, if you believe that is arrogance, if you believe that is showing off, here's the other part of the context that you need to know. He did this in response to the entire Guardians crowd chanting in unison, "Overrated." Overrated. Do you have the sound?
I do not.
Oh, I see you're reaching for it. So they are chanting overrated at him, and his response is the home run. In the post game, he goes, "Yeah, that trot was for those guys."
Talking all that jazz.
Talking all that jazz.
Baseball is one of the unique platforms where you have the stage all to yourself to show people up. It is a baseball over the fence. The play is done. All that is required of me is to touch them all. I just got to get around the bases. We get the run. All base runners are cleared. Nothing for you to do defense, but watch me do it.
There's nothing more
You hit a big three in basketball, there's still defense to be played.
But when a hitter gets to the heel and just you see the chest just open up.
Oh, yeah. Well, in football, it's a team effort. Linemen patting their heads. Got to hit your receiver. Dude, it's all you. It's all you just did that, and it's over. It's one of my favorite things. I hate to give any flowers to the Yankees. You know how difficult this is for me. But I don't care who you are. If you're getting overrated, chanted at you, that's how you respond.
Talking all that jazz.
Here's the problem.
Talking all that jazz.
Here's the problem. We'll get into it later. We have to get into our regular hour of happy hour. Not even the best home run yesterday. Not even the best home run of the day. You'll find out what that is at some point during the regular shenanigans that are happy hour. We do that next. It is 105.1, The Fan and the Fan Sports Network.
Your home.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, Game 4 of the NBA Finals is tonight as we get set for a 5:30 tip-off in MSG. A home team is still yet to win a game in the series as New York comes into the contest as 2.5-point betting favorites. Make sure to catch all of tonight's Game 4 coverage over on 9:10 AM when pregame starts at 4:30. Over to the NHL as Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final was last night. The Carolina Hurricanes evening up the series at 2-2 as they took home the victory with a win 5-3. Game 5 is tomorrow in Raleigh as early betting lines show the Hurricanes as 1.5 goal betting favorites. We are just one day away from the opening match of the World Cup between Mexico and South Africa. Your men's U.S. national team will kick things into action this Friday at 6 p.m. as they take on Paraguay in their first match of the group stage. And finally, your Portland Fire will be back in action tomorrow night as they host Asia Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces inside the Moda Center. The Fire come into the contest as 9.5-point underdogs as tip-off is set for 7 p.m. But make sure to tune into all the pregame coverage over on 9:10 a.m. when we get things going for you at 6:45. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
The Fan is live on YouTube and Twitter.
Well, hey, happy Black Cow Day, all you beautiful radio listeners. Thank you for dropping in on our little happy hour. We appreciate you listening. If you're watching on YouTube, here's a hand gesture just for you. You're welcome. YouTubers, feel free to hit us up on the chat if you're listening on the radio through 105.1 The Fan FM or 1080 AM, online at 1051thefan.com, Odyssey.com, the Odyssey app, or you ask your smart speaker to play me some 90s sitcom theme music talk, and this is what you got. Use the fan text line, 503-2GO-FAN. That's 503-864-6326. Use it. Use the text, use the chat to share your thought, ask questions, solicit advice, or answer me this, dear listeners. Have you made your voice heard? Lowercase, did you fill out your online Moda renovation survey yet?
I've not. I got it bookmarked, though.
You need to get on it, or there's other options. So if you are not familiar with what the hell I am talking about, there is a public engagement survey that is online at portland.gov, so you can let the city council know what you think of the idea of spending $120 million, which would add to the $385 million already agreed on at the state level, and another $88 million still waiting to be agreed upon at the county level to take the Moda Center into the 21st century. It's a 30-year-old arena, and I know that you went to a concert there that one time, and it was great. I don't even know why you didn't do anything to upgrade it, because it was nice. It needs upgrades. The NBA, the folks that look at arenas for a living said, a little outdated. So let's just trust them. It is public money, but the building is now publicly owned. Your Moda Center, because it is owned by you, the people of Portland, Oregon, is operated by the Blazers. They are the number one tenant in there. If you do not get an upgrade going for your building, there's no guarantee that the Portland Trail Blazers extend their lease. Now, what does that mean exactly? It means they probably move out of town. Now, hopefully, this does not turn into an argument or we get anywhere near that, because if you're listening to me, the other thing that you need to know is not only do the Blazers operate the Blazers, they operate the building on behalf of the city. So if you decide that we don't need the Blazers anymore, then you have to go and figure out who's going to actually run the day-to-day operations of the arena, which I don't know exactly what those are, but I know that when concerts come through, it's the ticketing folk, it's the ushers, it's the folks that work through the Blazers. So not only do they take an arena and keep it up and running for your basketball games, the Fire then would have to figure out what they're going to do, because the Blazers are still the ones that operate it for that. All of your concert promoters and everybody that is dealing with them, all the family events. You want to go to Disney on Ice? You can go to the VMC and do it, but if you want to do it at Moda Center, the monster trucks, whatever you go to Moda Center for, it is probably worth keeping the 190 events that were in that building up and going, at least in my opinion. Now, obviously, I'm talking to people that listen to sports radio, so I don't think I need to tell you all how important it is to have the Blazers to the city. You're listening to sports radio. Maybe you hate the Blazers. I think you still understand that professional sports in a city that has a Big Four professional sports team might be worth keeping them around. So if you want to help and have your voice heard, you have two options. You go to portland.gov and find the Moda Center online survey, or they're going to have community events. So you can actually go to any number of parks around the city, June 13th and June 14th. They're going to be all over the place. McCoy Park, Irving Park, Lentz Park, Park Lane, Mount Scott, Selwood, Laurelhurst, and Tom McCall Waterfront Park. There's a list of all the times and dates of where they're going to be, so you can go and make sure your voice is heard. Looking at it earlier today, it's about 50-50 where people are selecting one of 5 options. There is strongly disagree to make this investment in these improvements, strongly agree. By far and away, the number 1 and number 2 responses, and they're real close. The handful of people that are in the middle, like, man, whatever, it's just $120 million. Now, here's the other thing. Don't think of what you would do with $120 million if you had that in your bank account. This is a city budget. This is something that is creating revenue for the city, whether it is directly through the building or all of the things that happen around it. I live in Vancouver, kids. If I come into Portland for an event, a lot of times it's at Moda Center. I spend more than my fair share on parking around the arena and going into the arena to spend tickets and restaurants around it and grabbing beers at the Garden and whatever it is. So I am not the only one. And if you are in the voting proximity in one of the 4 districts or whatever it is that are going to vote on this, I'm going to need your help. So if you can go out there and make your voice heard, that would be awesome. You want to do some in case you missed it? Kind of went a little long-winded there, so my apologies for that. In case you missed it, Minnesota Vikings minicamp is officially underway, and new quarterback Kyler Murray had an absolute nightmare opening scrimmage, throwing 2 interceptions on his first 2 pass attempts. Afterwards, Murray blamed the bad start on splitting reps, claiming that it making the transition to a new offense extremely difficult with limited reps. Okay, Kyler, I'm pretty sure no matter what offense you're running, the general rule of thumb is to throw the football to guys wearing the same color jersey as you. Honestly, I wonder if the Vikings coaching staff has really thought about the best way to communicate with this guy. I think what you need to do is speak in language that he understands. I say pull him aside and say, look, Kyler, regardless of the call, it is your duty to throw it to our squad, you dummy. Like, just try to maybe. And look, I'm not
throw it to the X receiver.
I see what you did there. That's good. And I'm not a career counselor, but if you end up losing the quarterback competition to J.J. McCarthy, you pretty much have to immediately leave the facility, opt out of your NFL contract, and finally go report to Major League Baseball right now. Yeah, is that no?
That's fair.
Might want to hurry while the A's are playing in Vegas, because apparently that ballpark does not hold baseballs. I would probably rush and do that. In case you missed it, a massive federal audit has revealed that 5 separate law firms systematically schemed to defraud the NFL's concussion settlement fund over $87 million. The attorneys allegedly used unapproved outside doctors to give players fake Parkinson's disease diagnosis and then literally prescribed them symptom-masking drugs to cheat the official league medical evaluations. This is sad. This is what happens when you try to do the right thing, like creating a highly restricted, heavily bureaucratized fund that barely addresses the needs of the human beings that you irreversibly gave irreversible brain damage to, so you can make your league one of the most profitable sports in human history because you spent decades telling the players that the long-term effects of head trauma on their lives and their families were not really a problem. Then you reluctantly put together a performative fund that after you got caught lying, so you could get the minimum response possible. And then they scam you anyways? I mean, come on. It just goes to show you, no matter how much your face-saving, minimal impact corporate deed goes unpunished. Like, it's just, you can't do anything right. It's just, I always do that. I need to practice one. In case you missed it, Arizona Cardinals linebacker Mack Wilson Sr. is apparently completely unbothered by the divisional rivalry between the Los Angeles Rams after they made the trade for All-Pro defensive end Myles Garrett. When asked about the trade this week, Mack Wilson completely dismissed the threat, saying, quote, "At the end of the day, they still got to deal with us." Listen, this might sound crazy, but I actually think the Cardinals are one of the few teams in the league that have a legitimate position to completely disregard Myles Garrett, along with Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. I mean, if you lose your 2 divisional matchups last year by a combined score of 82-37, you don't really have to worry about the starters playing after the first half anyways, right? I mean, it's basically a bye week for Myles Garrett. I wouldn't worry about him either if I was you, Cardinals. Like, you sacked Jacoby Brissett a couple times, he gets hurt, they put him back. In case you missed it, Victor Wembanyama denounced videos of Knicks fans physically attacking Spurs supporters outside Madison Square Garden after Game 3. God, he's so French. Am I right? Like, no. Wemby wasn't the only one to condemn the violence, but the new law, there's a new law that requires that every single NBA headline by media partners must include Victor Wembanyama's name, or he'll only be able, but only until he gets caught betting and is only able to play in college basketball. So that's a rule for right now. Obviously, New York fans crossed the line, but I don't know why we're pretending that all of these fights were 100% instigated by Knicks fans. You have to believe that at least a few of the reported at least 21 arrests that were related to ugly fan altercations weren't Knicks fans. Some of them were just fans of punching strangers in the face, and they only threw on a Knicks jersey to look more festive. Come on, those are... Speaking of basketball violence, in case you missed it, Spurs star Victor Wembanyama officially dodged a massive bullet today after the NBA league office declined to upgrade his upper body shove to Jalen Brunson to a flagrant foul. An upgrade would have moved Victor Wembanyama precariously close to an automatic suspension, as he already has 2 flagrant fouls at this point for previous elbowing incidents earlier in the playoffs, and of course 4 flagrants would mean a suspension. But honestly, I think the Spurs are just lucky that Jalen Brunson is simply too short for Wembanyama to comfortably elbow him in the face. I think that's what...
It was a height issue. He was having to reach.
He would have. Yeah, he's like, I have to extend my arms. I just want to elbow this punk in the face. Yeah, and can you imagine what would happen if Wembanyama had to get a automatic suspension in this series? That means broadcasters would have to learn some of the other names of players on the Spurs. That would be terrible. And finally, in case you missed it, a 23-year-old Knicks fan is going viral for his 2020 high school yearbook and senior quote that has resurfaced. His quote, "Knicks in 6 in 2026. Not only has the quote gone viral, but he's also been named the first ever Knicks Poet Laureate. So congratulations. Game 4 tonight. Man, I'm pumped. Big thanks to our studio audience. At 2:30, we're going to play the fun game we call the subtext. Play-by-play audio. We're going to try to read between the lines and figure out if we can use players, coaches, administrators, front office people's comments to see if we can predict the future. But right now, we need to get into the Daily Buzz. Weird game for the Mariners last night against the Orioles. Gave me some heart palpitations that I probably did not need. One of the most exciting home runs, certainly for the player that hit it, and more fly balls just floating out of that tiny little stadium in Vegas. All that is in the Daily Buzz. We do it next on Happy Hour. This is 105.1 The Fan.
The biggest question.
That's right. It's an NBA Finals week edition of the Daily Buzz. So let's talk some hockey. An insane game winner from Jordan Staal yesterday. He scored 4 goals in the first 4 games and got a 5th to take the lead late in the game. Just from his Superman pose as he's diving. It just, come on. Our little Tom Dundon has put together quite the hockey team in Carolina, and you can poo-poo the connection all you want. He said his most important thing is putting together a winner on the ice when he got to Carolina. He said the most important thing is putting together a winner on the court when he gets to Portland. So, hey, so far since he has taken over, his other team that he owns is looking real good. They have now evened up the series in the Stanley Cup Finals with the Vegas Golden Knights. And if you're not watching this series, I highly recommend that you should.
The Buzz.
Wild one for the Mariners and the Orioles yesterday. It was decided on a home run in the top of the 10th by who else but Randy Arozarena. Hits a 2-run shot as the leadoff hitter in the first extra frame. That clutch hit ended up being enough for the Mariners to hold on, but man, there were some moments. First of all, Cole Young ends up being your shortstop the last couple days because Colt Emerson is out. Sounds like he's feeling better and should be back in. J.P. Crawford is sitting on the 10-day IL, so you won't see him for a little bit, so you should have your young guns up the middle. That means you need somebody else to play second base. The presumed starter for most of the season last year was going to be a guy named Ryan Bliss. We haven't seen him much, so he gets the start at second base the last couple days. He almost gave me a freaking heart attack. If you are sitting in the bottom of the 9th inning and the bases are loaded and the count goes full, what are the runners doing?
They're running.
How fast is Pete Alonso, who is at the plate?
Not very.
If he hits a stinger of a ground ball up the center and you collect that ball behind second base, knowing that Gunnar Henderson's on first and running to the bag at second, where'd he go with the ball?
You go 1. 2 outs?
He went 2 outs. He went foot race to the bag. Ooh. Oh, they did a review, and my heart is beating out of my chest. So old Petey almost won the game, but did not, so it goes to the 10th. That's one thing. But you should have seen the way the 9th started. One of the more insane strikeouts that you will ever see. One of the great, great Mariners of all time, Leody Taveras. You know Leody. Sure you do. So Leody is up to bat to lead off the bottom of the 9th for the Orioles. Count goes full. Taveras thinks it was ball 4. He starts walking to first base. Umpire and everybody kind of points out, hey, buddy, you're going the wrong way. So he walks back over to the box, then takes a big step back and readjusts his elbow pad because he's about to take it off. Pays no attention to the pitch clock. And while he's standing there adjusting his gear, gets the final strike. So the first out in the bottom of the 9th was a gift because of a delay on the pitch clock.
Wow.
How about that? I mean, just an absolutely wild baseball game. That is one of many. How hard do you think the average third baseman throws a baseball? If you put a radar gun on a throw from third base to any bag on the diamond, what do you think the average speed would be? That you got to have a strong arm to play the hot corner.
I'd say mid to high 80s.
Patrick Wisdom at one point had to make a play going to home plate, but because of where he was positioned on the field, he had to throw it over the runner to get it accurately to home plate to make a tag, and successfully threw out a runner from third to home with a 61-mile-an-hour lob. The whole game was just 6-5 Mariners win. The whole thing, I'm texting back and forth between the great Will Darkins about the game. Both of us were just, this game is nuts. Just an absolute ton of fun, but your Mariners get the victory. And let's do one more of those, shall we? Because Cal Raleigh, made his first rehab start at AAA yesterday. 2 home runs, including a grand slam. The first pitch he sees at AAA. Now, this is a guy that has never been on the IL since he has become a major league player. So his first at-bat in AAA since he came up through the Mariners system is a home run. Then he hits a grand slam later. So things going well for your Seattle Mariners. Nice little victory in a bizarre game. And then your catcher working his way back up and seems to have found the power. I think oblique injuries might affect your swing, especially if you swing from both sides of the plate. I'm not 100% sure about that. I am not a doctor.
The Buzz.
All right, let's get to it. The most, quote, surreal home run that you will see. You still want to play the sound of this? You said it's a little bit long.
I've got it for you.
Casey's White Sox. Here's what happened last night.
He's had one at-bat from the right side. Back to the left side for his most crucial at-bat of his first game. Sends it in the air to left. It is back near the wall. It is over the wall for a game-winning home run. How about that? Talk about drama. Talk about theater.
What a ball game. And what a major league debut for Montgomery. Great
Fireworks.
Remember the name. This guy can play. He's a member of the organization brought up as a first-year player, the 12th first-year player for the Sox this year.
Braden Montgomery, in his first game in the major leagues, hits a walk-off home run. Only the 5th player ever to do that. He joins a guy named Billy Parker that played for the Angels back in the 70s. Josh Bard did it for the Indians in 2002. A guy named Miguel Cabrera,
he's pretty
with
good.
the Marlins, did the same thing in 2003. Went on to have a pretty okay career. Carlos Perez did it for the Angels. Now, if you look at this list, the only thing that's disappointing on there is that 2 of those were against the Mariners. But either way, he joins very good company. So congratulations to Braden Montgomery and the best home run of the night. I will say one last thing before we get to the SportsCenter update, and I just want to point out that yesterday, after we talked about the A's-Brewers game in Vegas, I flipped over to that game after the conclusion of the Mariners game and the hockey game. That ballpark is tiny, and it was the conversation on the broadcast. There was a 95 mile an hour off the bat pop-up, just sailed right out through the thin desert air. So there will be a different stadium when the A's actually go to Vegas. It will be a beautiful indoor structure like you've never seen. It's gonna be gorgeous. That is a very, very small little Cracker Jack box, and they are just smacking home runs. 7 on Monday, 5 more home runs for the A's yesterday. They get a win over the Brewers to
12
avenge.
in 2 days.
It's a lot. Well, again, routine pop flies turning into home runs.
I believe we watched, what was it, the one on Monday that tied it up at 14?
Oh, yeah.
It went 316 feet.
I just had to check in to see what was going on, and it was very much the conversation of the broadcast. I watched 1 inning and 2 home runs, and it was just like, yeah, this is not really fair. And they were saying that pitchers are actually upset that they have to go and pitch in that because it will destroy their ERAs. It is not great baseball, but it is what it is. Next, we're going to get into the subtext. Casey has selected some press conference audio that we'll have to listen to and use to tell the future. But right now, let's walk over to the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk and see what we're missing.
This SportsCenter update is brought to you by Big's Chicken. Try their smoked and fried wings, tossed with a perfect dry rub, and served with a trio of killer sauces.
You do me a
Menus
favor and try the voice.
BigsChicken.com.
There you go.
First on the fan, the United States women's national team picked up a victory yesterday in their friendly versus Brazil, but that's not the story of it, because Brazil, they received a total of 8 red cards in the friendly match.
Doesn't sound friendly at all. Red cards are ejections in which you have to play without that player. Does that mean they were down to 3 players on the field? Is that how red cards work?
Again, the United States in a scrappy 1-0 win over Brazil in Fortaleza on Tuesday night, in which the home side finished with 9 players.
9 players, okay.
And was shown a total of 8 red cards.
Not as bad as I thought it would be.
With Sophia Wilson, she forced the own goal in the second half to give the United States the win.
They didn't even score. They get them down to 9 players and they don't even score.
Own goal.
I heard. Boy, if you're trying to sell me on soccer with that is not the way to do it.
The U.S. will now go on a lengthy hiatus for international competition, with its next match coming November 27th against El Salvador.
Cool.
And for more sports scores and stories in 60 minutes, I'm lowercase from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
The home of dirt and
rightful place is atop the Pac-12 mountain. Let me repeat that. Our rightful place is atop the Pac-12 mountain, and our teams are going to compete for conference and national championships. We will modernize our operations to maximize our brand value on a national stage and drive long-term financial stability required to compete at the highest level.
I know you hate college sports, Luke, but my school's got a new athletic director, and I'm all for it. Kevin Griffin was named our athletic director a few days ago, and he just had his introductory press conference where he says, we're going to try to compete for national championships, and I am all for it. What are your thoughts?
And what, baseball? Cool. Like, the Pac-12 is a joke of a conference. There's 8.5 teams. You're going to be competing against Gonzaga in basketball, so I'm going to put them on top of that mountain there. If you're supposed to be on top of it for football, this is a minor football conference. I don't know what the agreement's going to be for automatic bids or whatever it is, but I don't know that there's enough TV revenue for you to compete with any of the super conferences that football will dominate. Baseball, you've been a good team. Go figure out how to keep that rolling, I suppose. What other sports are they good at? Cool. Go out and win championships. But the Pac-12 was a conference of champions. They won 0 in football. They won 0 in men's basketball the entire time they were the Pac-12 from 2011 on. They never won in the two major sports. So if you think this conference, the way it's currently constructed, is going to be the one that you need to conquer on your way to a national championship, I think you're wrong. I see there's going to be a very rude awakening once you spend a few years in this mess of a minor conference, and you're going to realize that it doesn't have anywhere near the value. But sounded good. I mean,
again, I know you're trying to poo-poo it, but
I know you want a guy that believes in you. But do you actually believe that Oregon State is on their way to competing for championships in men's basketball or in football?
In men's basketball, I don't see why we couldn't, especially because we just got a national championship coach. We're competing against Gonzaga now every year, like you say, so that's going to be a good measure of test to see how we stack up against the rest of the big powerhouses.
Well, but it will be
a step in the right direction, and that's what we were looking for as Beaver fans, because especially over the last 2 years, when everything has been in complete disarray and the exact opposite of what we're trying to go towards, this is a great step.
The unfortunate thing is, it is a great step for anybody that can move Oregon State a little bit in that direction. If you end up being the athletic director that is getting Oregon State closer, he's going to get other job offers. If you have, I forget the guy's name, that's the new head coach for the football team,
Jamarcus Shepard.
If he has a couple good seasons, he is going to be poached to go to a major conference school. And sorry, Pac-12, you are not a major conference. You're also not 12. So I can't figure that out either, but you're going to be poached. Right now, it's a middle-of-the-road job. And if you do the job well, unfortunately, I think the reality is that both Oregon State and Washington State have been relegated. And they may have always been, schools that were stepping stone jobs anyways, but they are not a career defining job that you're going to have somebody that's going to stay for long term. Unfortunately, if they do well, I think they're gone.
Yeah, definitely. I expect us to win the next 3, but us just taking it game by game, quarter by quarter, and trying to walk this thing down. Like I said, those first 2 games really hurt, and I feel like it was an eye opener for us. We don't want it to be that way. We want to punch first and be on the front foot. But, that's the reality of it now. So just trying to take it game by game. But, yeah, we definitely expect to come into tomorrow and come out of here with a win.
That was Stephon Castle on the upcoming games for the rest of the finals, and he's feeling pretty confident.
Well, I don't know if it sounds all that confident or cocky. That's the expectation you have to have. You're not going to go out and play in a basketball game as a professional and expect to lose those games. He has the confidence that comes with winning 62 games and winning through the Western Conference, which is, outside of maybe their opening series, they didn't really have a pushover that you have to play. You have to go out there and earn your spot in the NBA Finals, so I don't know why you wouldn't have confidence. They were in position to win the 2 games that they lost, and the next game they got the win. So it's none of that feels like arrogance or being cocky or anything like that. I think it's just going out there and doing it. Now, I think they're in for a rude awakening, because I think you're going to get a more complete game from the Knicks this this second go around in Madison Square Garden. I think that you may have had a little bit more distraction for the Knicks than you did for the Spurs, because there was a whole lot going on, and I think there's more room for the Knicks to play better than maybe even what there was for the Spurs in some of those games. They had bad turnovers in moments, but generally played pretty well. I think the Knicks played kind of a flat game on Monday, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks come out and win this one.
Relative to Shai and the narrative on that, he's playing against 6 people. He's got 5 defenders, and the 6th defender is social media. And, that's a reality. And he's not going to be the last player that the machine decides to target. But no one's going to handle this gracefully, because when they turn it on somebody else, they're not going to step up there every night and not acknowledge it.
Well, pat yourself on the back, Luke, because we just recorded ourselves a stat. Social media? Really? That's your 6th defender? Come on. That was Oklahoma City owner Sam Presti talking about what Shai has had to deal with through the entire Western Conference Final. Again, how do we feel about this? Because I am beside myself that a owner, that anyone associated with sport wants to take social media and apply it right onto the court.
25% of people are on social media. Of those 25%, something like 5% of the users generate 97% of all the content. It is a vocal minority of people, and if you're going to give it that much value in your room, you're a dope. Like, it's just really, really dumb. And I know you're standing up for your player, but don't let the air come out of the room because of what some people said that are very far removed from an actual conversation have to say. The currency on social media is clicks and reactions. You get a much higher reaction from negative commentary and attacking than you do from positive and uplifting. So people are on there to get the little dopamine rush of they put disparaging comments about people and people like me because I don't like him and we love him together. Sam Presti, be better than this. That is something that is very, very dumb, at least in my opinion. What do we have for one more for the road? Let's take a look here. Man, we missed a lot of stuff. Good thing we've got bonus hours. If you're worried that the younger generations are going to let Elvis just fade away, fear not. I tell you why. Next, it is One More for the Road on Happy Hour. This is 105.1 and the Fan Sports Network.
Join the Fan.
If you missed any part of the show, past shows, future shows, go find the podcast, 1051thefan.com, Odyssey.com, the Odyssey app. Got to tell everybody it's on. Yesterday, 71 salmon through the fish counter at the Russian River in Alaska. Another 251 today. That is 322 fish compared to 1 at the same time last year. Very, very exciting. Casey, what are people saying on the fan text toy or the YouTube chats that we need to address?
Well, we have some people that want some more clarification on this Brazil U.S. women's national team soccer game.
Yeah, was everybody red carded at the same time? Was this like what the hell actually happened?
We got a yellow card in the 17th minute, yellow card in the 23rd minute, yellow card in the 37th, yellow card in the 43rd, yellow card in the 43rd, yellow card in the 48th, a second yellow, so a red card in the 78th, a red card in the 78th, another red card in the 78th, yellow card in the 82nd, red card in the 89th, yellow card in the extra time.
Were they just trying to get out early so they could go to like their prom or something? Like what was actually occurring? See, you're just giving me times. I don't need any of that.
Well, it began with it says it began with tragedy after someone went down with an injury and was stretchered off after a worrying collision. And then the own goal happened and just a lot of
scrapping.
A lot of scrapping.
All right. Well, sounds like quite the party. Let's do one more. I mentioned the tease as we went into break, and you said that it would be a travesty if we lost touch with Elvis over the years, but I think we've discussed it, and that's not something that either of us are necessarily worried about. But as somebody that lived some of their more formative years in the city of Las Vegas, one thing that does scare me is the disappearance of Elvis impersonators, but I think we are both safe. In Tupelo, Mississippi, they just had a gaggle of exuberant young boys and teenagers ranging from ages 7 to 17, all bejeweled in jumpsuits and celebrating the Tupelo Elvis Festival. The young tribute artists were all kinds of excited to go out there and perform as tributes. These are not impersonators. They are tributes to Elvis, so they're going out there and putting their own spin on the King's music. It's been 50 years since Elvis passed away, and there's a whole new crop. A lot of them credit the 2022 movie. Some of them claim, so Tupelo is where Elvis is from. They claim to be related to him somehow. They have drawn the lines in the family. So Elvis, in memory and in tribute performers, is alive and well. It is very, very exciting.
A hunk of burning holes in our hearts?
Well, I'll tell you, one of my favorite Elvis impersonators of all time. I have no idea what his name was. I have no idea where he performed. But when I was a bartender in Las Vegas, I bartended at the Tony Roma's restaurant that was on 6th and Sahara, just down the street from the Strip. It was, if you ever watched the movie Casino, they blow up the car. That was the parking lot where it actually happened and where they filmed it in the movie because it's based on Lefty Rosenthal's actual life. There was an Elvis impersonator that would come in for lunch at least once a week. And he was the fat Elvis impersonator. And I will always remember him because he slowly went from fat Elvis to skinny Elvis. And I remember asking him what his diet plan was, hoping that it wasn't something like an illness.
Hoping that it wasn't an Elvis-related...
Yeah. Well, Elvis didn't really get sick. He just kind of croaked on the toilet. That's a little different. So, hoping that it wasn't an illness, I remember asking him. He just goes, it's easy. He goes, every meal, I don't order less food. I don't do anything different. I prepare everything the same way. And he goes, I eat half of it. And that was the simplest diet plan that I had ever heard. And if Elvis can go from a fat jumpsuit Elvis to a skinny jumpsuit Elvis, that is good enough for me. So whatever his name was, whoever he was, I will forever love the conversation I had with him. Just couldn't have been a nicer guy, but just came in with the big dyed pompadour, Elvis glasses, it's not something you escape from. It is definitely part of your identity. So congratulations to these kids, and I hope you stay as tribute performers for the rest of your life, and that we never have to live a day without Elvis impersonators. Big thank you to Dusty Hera, who joined us. He's going to join us every Wednesday throughout the summer until Ducks Insider returns on August 1st. Big thanks to everybody that listened. Thank you, Casey Smith. Thank you to all the Elvis impersonators here, there, and everywhere. And of course, thank you, Isaac Ropp. We're all done for now. Bye-bye.
Always look on